Hi guys, it's Abby with the Bead Place and beadplace.net, and today I'm going to show you how to make these really fun fiber earrings. How cool, right? So this is kind of our answer to the feather earrings that are so popular right now. So what you're going to need are a fiber hank. You can purchase these at beadplace.net, or if you have any leftover yarn from projects, beautiful ribbons work as well. You're going to need wire in the metal color of your choice. This is copper wire. You can use anywhere from an 18 gauge to a 24 gauge, whatever you prefer. You're going to need earring findings. I've got some French hooks right here. I have some cones. You could also use long bead caps as well, just something that is going to have a large enough opening that you can hide a loop that's going to capture our yarn. And I have scissors, chain nose pliers, round nose pliers, and a flush cutter. So the first thing we're going to do is figure out about how long we want the earrings to be. So what I usually do is I look in a mirror and I see, oh, I want them to fit about here. So I'm going to put my index finger right where my earlobe is, and I'm going to stop my thumb right about how long I want them. If you're not sure, err on the long side because you can always cut them shorter, but it's really hard to grow your yarn earrings. So we have this length. What we're going to do is undo the fiber hank, which I've already done. I'm keeping this length. I'm going to straighten out the yarn just a little bit so that all the ends end at the same place. Approximately, we can always give it a haircut. So I want my fiber earrings to be pretty long. So I'm going to measure that out. And then I'm just going to double it. So this was my single measurement. I'm going to straighten out all the yarns. I'm going to bend it over to double it. So then I'm going to cut at that spot. And I'm going to cut another one of that same amount, but make sure to keep them separated, so you keep it separated with the finger so that it's easier for you to differentiate between the two bunches at the end. So once you have your measurement, you can put the other one down on the table as I'm doing, and then putting a little bit of tension on the yarn helps you cut it. So we have our two little bunches of yarn. We're going to lay those to the side. We're going to take some of our wire. And to start out, if you're a beginner and you haven't done much wire wrapping before, I'm going to recommend cutting about 1 foot of wire. So usually that's about that much on me, from my fingertip to the inside of my elbow. I'm going to take the flush cutter and trim it. Straighten it out just slightly. And you're going to take your chain nose pliers. Your chain nose pliers is the one with the smooth, flat surface to the inside. You want to make sure you're not using a chain nose pliers that has serrations on the inside or little crisscrosses. It needs to have a smooth nose. So what we're going to do is find about halfway down your wire, and we're going to bend the wire into a 90-degree angle. So we've got a 90-degree angle. We're going to take the round nose pliers, so that's the one with the barreled noses, and we're going to grab right in that bend, just like that. And we're going to make a fairly large loop, so push the wire all the way back towards your hand, but we're going to make sure that this loop is still going to be small enough to go into the cones. So usually what I do is I just make the loop by bending the wire up around the top and then down. So we have a loop that looks like this. And then I'm going to open my package of cones and make sure that that loop is going to fit inside. It's very easy to adjust, so don't worry if it's too small, or I'm sorry, if it's too large. So it fits inside, so we're good to go. What I'm going to do is then grab one of the bunches of my yarn, and I'm going to slide that down in the middle in my in my loop of wire. So it's just kind of like that. So This part is a little difficult to see, so you're going to need to trust me when I tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to take my chain nose pliers and grab the side where that little loop is. We're going to take the tail end of the wire and bring it straight over to the other side, and then wrap it around this long post just a couple times to make sure it's secure. So I've coiled it around. I'll put the white behind it so you have a better look. With that yarn in the way, it's kind of hard to see, but you get the idea. So I'm going to take my chain nose pliers, and I'm going to trim the short tail end off. Now the tail end is the one that we've just wrapped around the long end. So we're going to trim it off, being careful that we're not trimming any of the yarns or ribbons. Okay, so what we're going to do is put the cone down over the top and pull that up, all the way up. Now this part is optional. I like it because it gives it a little bit prettier of a finished look. I like to put a finishing bead on top of the cone. So I have a little Swarovski crystal here that I'm just going to slide on the top, and it just makes it look a little bit more polished off, and it tapers down nicely to your earring finding. So we're going to repeat those same steps that we just did to make the loop, but now we're going to do it a little bit smaller, and that's what's going to attach into our earring finding. So we have the chain nose pliers. This time we're going to grab the wire directly on top of the bead, kind of close to the nose of the pliers, and bend it into a right angle. So I'll put the white behind so you can give it a better look. And we've got the round nose pliers. We're going to grab, again, close to the tip, just like that. The noses of the pliers this time are on top of one another instead of side by side. So we're actually grabbing the part that's bent over. You're going to bend the wire around the top and then down towards your yarn. So, looks like that. So we're going to hook it back onto the bottom nose of the pliers this time. Swing the wire from the side it's on now directly towards the other side. So it looks like that. And then we're just going to wrap and make a coil around a couple times down towards the bead. You don't want to cover the bead. We're just making a small coil down until we reach the bead. So, looks like that. We're going to trim the tail end off, being careful not to crack your crystal or glass bead that you've put on top. So once you've trimmed the tail end, you can use your chain nose pliers if you need to, and tuck anything down that might be sticking out. And you can straighten your loop just a little bit. So we have one of our cute little fiber earring dangles. So depending on the type of earring finding that you have, you might need to open it with pliers, or if it's an interchangeable style like this one, you're just going to slide the loop on over the back, and it's just going to hook down in. Might have to pull it open with pliers and then close it. So we have an almost finished earring. What we're going to do then is do the other one first before you give this one a haircut, just in case. And then we are going to give them a haircut. So again, to recap, I'm going to do this one over, or do the other one so you can see. I'm going to first cut foot of wire. Alright. And if you think you got it the first time, you can just kind of give yours a haircut the way you want and start making them. You don't feel like you have to watch this. But if you feel like you missed something or you might need a refresher, you can watch me make the second one. So I've got my foot of wire. I'm going to take my chain nose pliers, grab about in the middle, bend the wire down into a 90-degree angle. So again, like that. I'm going to take my round nose pliers with the noses on top of one another instead of side by side. I'm going to grab kind of farther towards the back, towards my hand, bend the wire around the top, and down. I've made my little hook. I'm going to hook the center of my fiber into the little hook, just like that. I'm going to grab my chain nose pliers, and again grab the side, just like this, and put the white behind. And I'm going to bend the wire over to the other side, and then wrap it around to coil just a few times. Just like that. Trim the tail end off, being careful not to trim any of your yarns or ribbons. Take your second cone, put the cone down over the top and pull up. Grab a finishing bead and slide that down on the wire, just like that. And again, the close strap loop method, and we have a special video on the website that's a little bit more informational about this technique. If you haven't quite picked up on it from this video, you can watch the other video, but it's pretty. So bend the wire into a right angle. So we've bent the wire into a right angle. We're going to grab the round nose pliers. Bye guys. We're going to grab the round nose pliers, and we're going to, no, I'm going to leave this in. So we're going to grab the round nose pliers and grab right kind of close to the tip and bend the wire around the top and down towards the yarn. So we're going to put it back on the bottom nose of the round nose pliers. Not fair. And we're going to bend the wire straight out to the other side. So it'll look like that. So we're going to then wrap and spiral downward towards the beads. The bead, I should say. Once you reach the bead, you're going to trim the tail end off and tuck anything down that we need to tuck down. Should look like that. Maybe a little neater if we weren't distracted by friends goofing around. So again, we're going to hook that into the earring finding. This is very easy to do. Just slides right in if it's an interchangeable, or you can use your pliers if it's not an interchangeable. Then we have fiber earring. Okay, so we are going to give our earrings a little bit of a haircut to even them out. You're going to hold them at an even length. You're going to look directly ahead at them and then just trim them off. Now, they look really cute when they are not all at one length. So just be artistic and trim them however you want. And then when you're done trimming, you have a cute pair of fiber earrings. One more thing before you go. Stay tuned next month for this really fun bangle bracelet. This is going to be our free workshop next month. In the store, it's going to be a week earlier than what it normally is, just so you know. We're having a really big event the last Saturday of the month, which is when we normally have the workshops. Artist Sarah Lukonen from Seacoop Beads is coming to teach an enameling class for us in the store. So that's awesome. But that's actually the last Saturday of the month, so the classroom area will be filled. So we're doing the free workshop the week before on the Saturday. So it's just really fun. We're calling it a fairy bangle made out of colored jeweler's wire with lots of fun little floating beads. So make sure to check it out either online or in store. Thanks for watching.